They say life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. I never believed that until the day I met him. It was a warm summer afternoon, and I was running late to a friend's engagement party. My car had broken down that morning, so I had no choice but to take the train. I wasn't thrilled about it. I was dressed in a lavender dress, more suited for a garden party than a crowded train. But there I was, standing on the platform, fanning myself with my invitation, praying the train would come soon. When it finally arrived, I found the last empty seat. Across from me sat a man, engrossed in a book. He had messy brown hair, glasses, and a look that made him seem like he belonged in an indie film. He didn't notice me at first, and I was fine with that. I wasn't looking for attention. But then the train jolted. My bag, which I'd placed on the seat beside me, tipped over, spilling its contents onto the floor. Lipstick, phone, keys, all scattered like confetti. I groaned and bent down to pick them up, but before I could, the man across from me was already there, gathering my things. "Here," he said, handing me my phone and lipstick. His voice was warm, with a hint of amusement. "You've got quite the arsenal in there," I laughed, a little embarrassed. "Yeah, I like to be prepared for anything." "Clearly," he said, holding up my tiny emergency sewing kit. "Do you also perform minor surgeries?" I rolled my eyes but couldn't help smiling. "Only on weekends." That's how it started, a simple, unexpected moment of kindness. His name was Daniel, and he was on his way to the same engagement party. The coincidence felt almost too perfect, but I brushed it off. By the time we arrived at the venue, we were laughing like old friends. He told me about his job as an architect and how he spent his free time restoring old furniture. I shared my love for writing and how I'd just started a blog about finding joy in everyday moments. The party was beautiful, with fairy lights strung across the garden and music floating through the air. But I barely noticed any of it. All I could see was Daniel. We spent most of the evening together, talking and laughing like no one else was around. When the night ended, he walked me to the train station. As we waited for the train, there was a pause in our conversation. "I'm really glad I spilled my bag today," I said, breaking the silence. "Me too," he replied, his eyes meeting mine. "It's not every day you meet someone who carries a sewing kit and can make you laugh in the same breath." I felt my cheeks flush. "Well, it's not every day you meet someone who actually knows how to use a sewing kit." The train arrived, and I reluctantly stepped on board. As the doors closed, he called out, "Hey, don't forget to give me your number." I scribbled it on the back of my invitation and pressed it against the glass window. He grinned and nodded, and I knew I'd see him again. Over the next few weeks, Daniel and I texted constantly. Our conversations were effortless, filled with humor, curiosity, and a growing sense of something more. Our first official date was at a little Italian restaurant he'd chosen because he remembered me mentioning my love for pasta. The night was perfect until I accidentally spilled red wine all over his shirt. I was mortified, but he just laughed. "Good thing I know how to handle stains," he said, winking. That moment summed up what I loved about Daniel. He never made me feel small or silly, even when I was at my most awkward. As months turned into a year, our relationship deepened. We spent lazy Sundays exploring bookstores, took spontaneous road trips to nowhere, and even tackled a DIY furniture project that ended with more paint on us than the chair. But it wasn't always easy. There were fights, like the time I accused him of not listening when he forgot something important I'd said. And there were moments of doubt, especially when his work took him out of town for weeks at a time. What got us through was the way he always came back, not just physically, but emotionally. He'd listen, really listen, and make me feel like I was the most important person in his world. 2 years after that first train ride, Daniel took me back to the same platform where we'd met. It was late evening, and the platform was quiet, bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. "I wanted to bring you back here," he said, taking my hands in his, "because this is where everything changed for me. This is where I met the woman who makes every day better just by being in it. My heart raced as he got down on one knee and pulled out a small velvet box. Claire, will you marry me? Tears blurred my vision as I nodded. Yes, 1,000 times, yes. Today, Daniel is my husband. We still laugh about how we met, and he teases me about the sewing kit every chance he gets. But I wouldn't change a thing, not the spilled bag, not the awkward moments, not the challenges we've faced together.